Hello world, boyfriend back again with another pickup video, and guess what? This is take two. So I was about 20 minutes into the first take, and we had a lovely delivery man show up at the door, and it completely ruined it, so here I am. Of course, now it's just kind of the usual thing that I always do 2 takes, but here we go. I got a lot of stuff to show this month, and I'm liking this new box thing I've been trying out. So I'm going to use this box that says kitchen, draw, and pens. So kitchen, draw, and pens. I must have been from when we were moving. But anyway, got a lot of things in this box. Let's get to it. So we are going to start. Oh, you know what? I know a good place to start. If you'll see, hopefully you can see this. I got a nice little video game heaven shirt. So how I got this was my good friend Rip, who is one of the co-hosts of the wonderful Narc podcast that Layla and I were fortunate enough to be a part of. I want to say last October? I'm not sure. It was such a long time ago. But as a thank you gift for being on the show, Rip sent both girlfriend and I, or Layla, these Video Game Heaven t-shirts. His buddies own this place. And he also sent us this nice little like stickers and buttons and 10% off if I ever make it to Video Game Heaven. I would love to. It's on the East Coast. I want to say Virginia. Am I right there, Rip? I forget. But if I make it out, hopefully I'll be able to use that 10% off one day. All the more incentive, right? So thank you, Rip. Thank you, Narc Podcast. Links down below. What next? Let's do some magazines. So first and foremost, I gotta always pimp out my buddies over at ReadRetrocom. This is issue 8 of Retro Video Game Magazine. This issue focuses on Batman with the new release of Arkham Knight. This covers a lot of Batman games, a lot of superhero games in general, not just Batman, but they go through a lot of different superhero games as kind of the main focus of the different articles in this issue. Gosh, did I explain that right? I hope so. Anyway, very good issue. Check out ReadRetro.com. Now, Nintendo Powers. I got a little beef with Nintendo Powers right now, or rather, the scarcity of them. Now, I do not go online for video game buying. I got nothing against going online. A lot of people, that's their only option to go online if they want to collect games. So I have nothing against it. But me, personally, I try. I'm very fortunate where I live, a lot of video game stores. I always try and find anything I can in the wild, except for Nintendo Powers. Nintendo Powers is just really hard to come by. So I usually get them off eBay. Well, eBay is drying up, my friends. I like to think that I had a part in that, because I'm always showing you guys these wonderful issues of Nintendo Powers I always get, and it has driven up the price. Yes, that's right. How narcissistic of me to think that my pickup videos, my like 200 plus views pickup videos, influenced eBay. Well, that's exactly what I think, because it is getting tough. And in fact, these 2 issues that I got to show you, I didn't even get on eBay. I got them at local stores. How crazy is that? So let's get to it. First one, having done this once, I know that there's an address label on this. Thank you, Kenneth Friedman. You got me. Volume 174 of Nintendo Power. Fire Emblem is on the cover. Now, see, 174, this is a later issue. That's how hard it is to get Nintendo Powers right now. I'm really having a tough time out there. But thank you, Kenneth Friedman. And then finally, I got Volume 16 with Maniac Mansion on the cover. Now, I will say, this is a harder one to get. I now have issues 1 through 37 complete. The only bummer about this issue was they didn't have the poster, which is unfortunate, but you know, I figure maybe one day down the road I'll find one with the poster, do a little upgrade, ipso facto. I didn't want to pass up on this. It was too good a deal. It was like, I want to say $5, and this is usually more than $5 on the old eBays. So that's all the Nintendo Powers I got. It's been getting tough. The prices have been going up. That's the thing. You can still get plenty of Nintendo Powers, but the prices are getting insane. It's getting like $8 to $10 an issue. No, 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 no. I don't want to pay that much for Nintendo Powers. Are you kidding me? Game Boy. A lot of themes this month. A lot of shout-outs, a lot of Game Boy games, a lot of Super Nintendo games, a lot of just video game love in general. Got two more two more Game Boy cases. Now, I didn't pay a single cent for these, and I don't think I've ever paid a single cent for these. I always, whenever I see these at a store, like kind of sitting on a counter or something, I go, hey, how much do you sell the Game Boy cases for? And they always, every single time, 100%, without fail, I'm batting 1,000, they say, take them. Get them off my hands. And I go, heck yeah. So see, it always helps to check what they got behind the counter if you can. And I got some more examples of that coming up. But let's get to some Game Boy games. So I have been on a Game Boy kick lately. I don't know what it is. It's been the year of Game Boy for old Curtis here. And I picked up a bunch of games. I only got one original Game Boy game, actually. And a funny story about this. So another shout out, the Retro Fandango podcast, hosted by Ramvox, all the way in Japan, and Buried on Mars, all the way up in Canada. They have a fantastic podcast where they have Schwarzenegger episodes and DeVito episodes, kind of a play on the movie Twins. The Schwarzenegger episodes are kind of beefy and more packed and dense and talk about a singular subject, like a movie franchise or video game franchise. And the DeVito episodes are kind of everything in between. They can talk about whatever. It's great. I've been on the show. It's fantastic if you've never heard it. But a while back, they did a Ghostbusters episode. Talked about everything Ghostbusters, video games, movies, and there's not a lot of good Ghostbusters games out there, if you know. A lot of crappy ones out there. Well, I remember Ramvox was talking about a Game Boy Ghostbusters game, and I could have swore he said the real Ghostbusters, one based on the television cartoon show, because that's the one I got. And I tell you, I think I'm wrong, because this game is garbage. It's absolute garbage. Do not get it. If I could explain it, I would. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's vaguely related to Ghostbusters. It feels like a game that was something else, and then they put Ghostbusters sprites in it, and voila, it's a Ghostbusters game. It kind of plays like the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, kind of a puzzle-ish, like an action puzzle game, but terrible, like the worst version of that. So Ramvox, if you're watching, what the heck was the game you were talking about? Because I really want to track it down. And unfortunately, now this is a stain on my Game Boy collection, but what can you do? So, or if anyone else out there knows, let me know. What the heck was that Game Boy game they were talking about? I got a bunch of Game Boy Color games. Beefing up my old Game Boy Color collection. Now this first one, a new buddy of mine, I've kind of been watching some of his videos, and he's got an Instagram account I follow. His name is John Riggs, and what he does, it's great. He does a lot of repros of hacks. I guess you would call them hacks, where he like hacks a game and will change the sprites around. And he's been doing it for a lot of popular YouTubers. Like he made a Metal Jesus game, or he made a Retro Liberty game. He does videos, links down below. This guy's great. It's really fun. He even has he has videos that he shows you how to do what he does. How great is that? So check him out. But he's got an Instagram account, and he posted this game to his Instagram account a while ago, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've never heard of that. That looks awesome. What game is it? WWF Betrayal. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm a wrestling fan. I actually have just recently kind of gotten back into it, and I was a big fan during the Attitude Era, and I found out this game is like a beat-em-up, like Double Dragon style, with WWF superstars like Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, and I was like, what? Blew my mind that I'd never heard of this game before. So I found it at this flea market, and they wanted $10 for it. Well, I only had $5 left in my pocket, and I wasn't really willing to spend $10 for this WWF game. And I said, would you take 5? They said 6. And I was like, well, I don't have 6. I got 5. Will you take 5? They said no. And I said, well, I'm sorry, we can't make a deal today. And I thought I could find it cheaper somewhere else, and I did. I tracked it down at this store, and guess how much they wanted for it? $4. I was like, sold. Ha ha, suck it, flea market. And then guess what? It didn't work. I don't know. I cleaned it. I tested it multiple times on different systems. I tried the Game Boy Player. I tried a Game Boy Advance. I tried a Game Boy Color. Could not get it to work for the life of me. I haven't got to play it yet. I'm a real bummer. But the worst part of it all, the irony, is I'm probably going to have to buy it again and pay more than I originally would have had I taken the original $6 offer. Ain't that some crap? Then I picked up Resident Evil Gaiden. Now I love Resident Evil. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time. And this is an interesting departure for the series in so that how do you translate Resident Evil to a Game Boy? Well, I think what they did is actually pretty neat. It's an interesting take on Resident Evil. You ever played a golf game where you got the little meter on the bottom and it goes back and forth? And then when it gets in the middle, that's where you want to get it, so you get that sweet swing. Well, that's kind of how the shooting system works. So you'll walk around on a map, kind of an overhead Zelda type view, and then when you come in contact with a zombie, you go to this like golf mode where you shoot. It's actually really fun, interesting idea, I think. I haven't got a lot of time into this game yet, but I'm looking forward to going back and maybe even trying to beat it. I was pretty interested in what I had played so far. But the real gem that I found in the Game Boy Color was this game. It's The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. Now, I had played this when it first came out many, many moons ago, and I loved it, and then I just haven't played it since. Well, I wanted to play them again. I've been going through a lot of Zelda games lately, and I knew this was connected to Oracle of Ages. So I beat Seasons. I love it. It's great. And you get a password at the end to put into Ages. And I was like, oh my gosh. So now I had to track down Ages. Well, guess what? I tracked down Ages, and now I'm playing through this, and it's so great. So basically how it works is I beat this game. I get a password. I put it into this game. Now when I'm playing this game, they reference this game. So the events that happened in this are referenced in this. It's great. I'm pretty sure it works the other way around as well if you would have played this game first. But what's even cooler is you get, when you play through both, you get like the actual ending, right? So when I beat this game, that's only like really half the ending. And it's kind of a to be continued type ending. But if you play in both, you get the real ending. So I'm really close to the end of Oracle of Ages right now. I got, I think, 2 dungeons left, and then I get to see what the actual ending is. I've never seen it before. I'm really excited. And that's all I got to say about that. So, oh, I did have one more Game Boy game. It was a Game Boy Advance game, actually. Now, if you remember, a few pickup videos ago, my buddy Lewis hooked me up with this sweet Metroid Zero Mission case, but there was no game. Until now. That's right. I tracked down Metroid Zero Mission. I haven't got a chance to play it yet, but I'm super excited. From what I understand, it's kind of a remake of the original Metroid on NES, but in the style of Super Metroid, which is one of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. So I'm really excited to dive into that one. And now I've got this fancy case to go along with it. So thanks again, Lewis. Super Nintendo. Let's get to some super friggin' Nintendo games. And I'm going to try and bust through these because there's so many. Let me just check and make sure it's still going. Oh my gosh. Low battery. I got a low battery, so I really got to fly. The clock is ticking now. I don't want to go to take 3. Street Hockey 95. Your basic street hockey game. Nothing special. Yoshis Cookie. Saw this on a recent episode of James and Mike Mondays. Looked interesting. I'd never played it before. Pretty fun little puzzle game. Tom and Jerry. I love games based on cartoon. They're never good, but I love them anyway. There's a certain charm, and I love to see how they adapt the tropes and conventions of the show into a video game. However, I haven't had a chance to play Tom and Jerry yet, so I can't really speak to that game. This game, though, Speedy Gonzales is another great example. I have played this. Kind of a Sonic clone, albeit a very poor Sonic clone. But if you want to play a Sonic clone starring a Looney Tune on the Super Nintendo, well, Speedy Gonzales Los Gatos Benditos is the game for you, my friends. Art of Fighting. Never been a big fighting games guy, but this was one I didn't have. So there you go. Jurassic Park. Now, this was a game I owned as a child, and then somewhere along the line, it found a new home, and I just hadn't got it yet. I'll tell you what, though, you guys see that guy that made a refrigerator and sold it, and it was full of Jurassic Park games? This game, this Super Nintendo game? What? You know, and I was thinking, too, after I saw that, I was like, you know what? I've been having a hard time trying to track down Jurassic Park. Is this guy buying up all the Jurassic Parks that I want to fill this stupid refrigerator? And he did sell it, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he sold it for a hefty price. What the heck? I don't know what's going on anymore. Andre Agassi Tennis. What? Why did I get that? Well, I'll tell you why. Whenever I go game hunting and I don't really find anything that's catching my eye that day, I'll usually just go back to my list of games and I'll go alphabetically right down the line. So I'm getting close to the end of the A's, and Andre Agassi Tennis is one of those games that I just never really see, so I picked it up. Oh, here we go. A couple little twinsy action from my favorite developer or publisher or whatever these guys are, Koei. Yeah, they're my LJN. I just am not into simulation games. I'm sorry. So I got Aerobiz, the first one, which is a simulation game. You run an airport. And then I got Genghis Khan 2, Clan of the Grey Wolf, which is a war-type simulation game. Also, I don't think I'll ever... I think that's probably the last time I will ever talk about or mention that game in my life. All right, getting down to the nitty-gritty. Super Alfred Chicken. So that's just kind of a weird, I guess, platformer type game. I don't know. I didn't really care for it, what I had played. Home Alone. Now this was a game, another game that I had as a child somewhere along the line, found a new home. I really dug this as a kid and I was really addicted to it. I didn't have a lot of games, but Home Alone was one of the ones I kept going back to. And it's actually like pretty difficult because the controls are kind of crappy. But I beat it as a child. Now remember, this is kind of always a crowning achievement of mine, is that I beat Home Alone as a wee little tot. A few more. Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Now this is a simulation game I might play. Get to be a captain for a day on the Starship Enterprise? Who wouldn't want to do that, right? I think it's on the Enterprise. If it's not on the Enterprise, I'm not going to play it. Sonic Blast Man. All right, that's a little Taito beat 'em up. On the scale of beat 'em ups for the Super Nintendo, I would put this one kind of right in the middle. Not great, not horrible. Sonic Blast Man. Twisted Tales of Spike McFang. So now we're starting to get to the harder to find stuff, and this was one of those games that was behind the counter at a store. I said, can I see those games over there? It looks like some Super Nintendo games. Twisted Tales of Spike McFang. Boom, this is a hard to find game. Guess what else they had though with these with Twisted Tales? Demon's Crest, EVO, The Search for Eden, among others. I think those were the two big ones. But see, just goes to show. See what they got behind the counter. You never know what you're gonna find. Okay, then we got just a few more. So, Congos Caper, and I can't really say much about this. It's like a platformer. I believe it's a sequel. I believe it's a sequel to Joe and Mac, the Joe and Mac series. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it is. I can't remember for sure. Stone Protectors. Now this is a beat 'em up. And this would be low on the scale of beat 'em ups. I was expecting so much more from this game. I don't know why. No one ever said anything about it, but when I turned it on, the sprites are great. I love the detail, the colors. It looks, as far as looks, it gets a 10 in my book. It's really well done. And then you start playing, and it's absolutely terrible. Doesn't that just upset you when a game looks so pretty and then it plays like crap? Well, that's Stone Protectors. Oh, this was a cool one. So, Ren and Stimpy Fire Dogs. Now, if you didn't know, this was actually a Blockbuster only exclusive. You can still see the stickers on it for Blockbuster. So this is a very tricky game to track down. Who would have thought Ren and Stimpy would be like a rare game? And there's actually another one called Buckaroos that's equally as rare. Actually, a little bit more expensive, actually. In fact. And then a few more. Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics. Now this is a tough one to track down, and I believe is the one that comes before Congos Caper. I don't know, so you tell me, interwebs. And then, okay, a few more Super Nintendo games. These ones are in the box because I got the manual as well. The first is Arcade's Greatest Hits Atari Collection. And yeah, like I said, got the game, got the manual, cool. This is, oh, you know what? This one, I had the manual, didn't have the game, picked up the game. Battletoads in Battle Maniacs. There you go, huh? That was a good find that day. I was very happy about that. And then finally, Lost Vikings 2. Now recently I had picked up Lost Vikings 1 and then I found Lost Vikings 2 with the manual. When does that ever happen? Manual's pretty beat up, but nonetheless pretty cool. And that was all I had for Super Nintendo games. Now, let's see, what else? Oh yes, I got another manual, and it is Back to the Future for NES. And if you don't know, I love Back to the Future for NES. I don't get all the hate that it gets. It's actually super addicting, very fun, very tight controls. I love it. And Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time, so I might be a little biased in that regard, but nonetheless, the game, give it another chance if you played it. Yes, it doesn't make a lot of sense when you try and compare it to the film, and why is there bees chasing him, and why are you throwing bowling balls? But look past that. The game has some really tight controls. And so I love this game, and I want to collect more Back to the Future stuff, so I got the manual. Manuel. Okay, so just a few more. We're getting to the creme de la creme, people. The creme de la creme coming up. So first off, if you saw in a recent For the Win episode, I went down to San Diego with my lovely and beautiful girlfriend Layla, and we stopped by Luna Video Games with Mr. Ian Ferguson from the Completely Unnecessary podcast. Boy, I'm shouting out the podcast today, aren't I? But anyway, wonderful podcast. Check it out. She got some games at that store, and I got a game. I got Crash Bandicoot 2, The Wrath of Cortex. Probably one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 1 ever. I loved Crash Bandicoot 2. I soaked it up. I found everything. 100%. You like 108% the game or something like that, I remember. Maybe not. I forget. But anyway, love the game. And I found it, and I got the original, not the greatest hits edition, which is very cool. Very excited about that. Next up, Star Fox 64 3D. Now this is becoming a very hard to find game because it's out of print. Same with Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time for the 3DS. Well, I had never played a Star Fox game really ever in my life, and this was featured on the Cartridge Club last month, and I'm a little bit late, but I finally picked it up, played it through. Wow, Star Fox is an amazing franchise. How have I skipped this franchise for so long? It's such an amazing game. I love it. Two more. So my buddy Jason, who is, gosh, he goes by the YouTube name TJ Kitsune? I think like Tails Kitsune? I don't know. I'll put it linked down below. He was featured in the Portland episode. He helped Girlfriend find Chef's Love Shack for Dreamcast. He's a big Dreamcast collector. Anyway, he wanted to, he was looking to get rid of a game, and he hooked a brother up with it. And he also sent me something a little extra, and that is the Dreamcast Generator. So it's kind of like a demo disc for Dreamcast games, which I love this sort of stuff. So thank you for that, Jason. But the main thing he sent me, in a little empty case, you see, oh, Genesis, what could it be? TMNT Hyperstone Heist. Woo! Now, this is a fantastic game. It's a port of Turtles in Time, albeit very different. But I love it. I love these Turtles beat-em-ups. I would still give the crown to Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo, but Hyperstone Heist, if you only had a Genesis, it's a wonderful addition to anyone's collection. Beat 'em up, it's at the top. At the top. If you got Stone Protectors, Sonic Blast Man, Hyperstone Heist, right up here. It's amazing. I have played it and beat it a couple times now already. So thank you, Jason. And then finally, the creme de la creme, kind of a special creme de la creme. Kind of a special creme de la creme, because it was a present. My birthday is actually in 2 days from now, and my buddy Ben, who's a childhood friend of mine, hooked me up with this game, which I amazingly didn't have in my collection, and that is, I got it in a little fancy case here, it is the original Mega Man. Now, what an awesome present, first of all. So thank you, Ben. Mega Man, wow, probably my favorite franchise of all time, and this is like the most pristine, glorious copy of Mega Man I have ever seen in my life. But not just that. Guess what else came with it? Yeah, the frickin' manual. Now that is a gift. Also, pristine condition. And I love it. I don't know if you can see, but like back then they used to just draw the enemies and put them in, which I think is really funny. But yeah, I was floored when I got this. Yeah, what an awesome, awesome birthday gift. So thank you, Ben, once again. Thank you, everybody, for such an awesome month or couple months worth of pickups. This was a big one to get through, and thank you guys for watching. And until next time, boyfriend